Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive into the gripping drama unfolding in Port Charles as we preview the intense events of Friday, May 30th, 2025. Emotions are running high, secrets are unraveling, and relationships are being tested like never before. From Willow Tate Corinthos' desperate pleas to Lulu Spencer's heated confrontation with Dante Falconeri, this episode is packed with heart-wrenching moments and unexpected twists. Join us as we explore the intricate dynamics of family, loyalty, and love, with new details and deeper insights into the lives of our favorite characters. Buckle up for a roller coaster of emotions as we break down every shocking revelation and tender interaction set to air tomorrow. Let's start with the storm brewing around Lulu Spencer, who finds herself in the eye of a personal hurricane after a devastating secret comes to light. In a tense showdown with Dante Falconeri, Lulu is forced to defend her controversial decision to reveal a life-altering truth. Despite warnings from Carly Spencer to tread carefully and consider the ripple effects of her actions, Lulu forged ahead, believing the truth needed to be told. However, the fallout has been far messier than she ever imagined. The revelation has shattered trust, especially for young Giovanni Gio Palmieri, who learned about his true parentage in the most painful way possible. As Dante demands answers in a charged confrontation, Lulu grapples with the accusation that she exposed the secret for selfish reasons, perhaps even to rekindle a past romance. In a poignant preview moment, Lulu's voice trembles as she asks Dante if he truly believes her motives were so calculated. This clash isn't just about the secret itself, it's about years of unresolved pain and the fragile threads that still tie their complicated history together. Will Dante see beyond his anger to understand Lulu's intentions, or will this mark the end of any hope for reconciliation? Meanwhile, at the sprawling Quartermaine mansion, emotions spill over as Brooklyn Quartermaine pours her heart out to her father, Ned Quartermaine, in a scene filled with raw vulnerability. Brooklyn is haunted by the fear that Gio, the son she never knew she had until recently, might never allow her into his life. Tears stream down her face as she wonders aloud if she'll ever have the chance to show him the boundless love she already feels. Ned, though lacking the perfect solution to mend this fractured bond, offers his daughter unwavering support. His quiet presence and empathetic ear provide a safe harbor amidst her turmoil. He reminds her of the strength within the Quartermaine family, recounting past struggles they've overcome together, and assures her that time has a way of healing even the deepest wounds. As they sit in the mansion's grand library, surrounded by portraits of ancestors who've weathered their own scandals, Ned's faith and family resilience offers Brooklyn a flicker of hope. But will Gio ever be ready to embrace the mother who was absent for so much of his life? On a parallel path of support, Emma Scorpio Drake emerges as a steadfast ally for Gio during this tumultuous time. As the young man wrestles with the shocking truth about his origins, Emma stands by his side, offering not just words of comfort but a promise of unwavering loyalty. In a touching moment set against the backdrop of Port Charles' scenic waterfront, Emma vows that no matter where Gio's journey takes him, whether he chooses to confront his past or build a new future, she'll be there every step of the way. Her reassurance isn't just a platitude, it's a testament to the deep bond they forged over shared experiences and mutual understanding. Emma, with her own history of family complexities, understands the weight of feeling uprooted, and her empathy shines through as she helps Gio navigate this identity crisis. Could this crisis bring them even closer, or will the pressure of these revelations test their friendship in unforeseen ways? Elsewhere in Port Charles, Cody Bell is wrestling with a heavy burden of regret over his role in exposing Gio's parentage. What seemed like a necessary truth to him and Lulu at the time has spiraled into a devastating blow for an innocent young man caught in the crossfire. As Cody confides in Sasha Gilmore Corbin, the weight of his actions becomes painfully clear. In a quiet moment at Kelly's diner, with the aroma of fresh coffee lingering in the air, Sasha, now glowing with the anticipation of motherhood, offers Cody a perspective he hadn't considered. She speaks of the power of accountability and the importance of giving Gio space to process this upheaval, drawing from her own experiences of rebuilding trust after betrayal. Her wise words encourage Cody to think beyond his guilt and consider how he might make amends, perhaps by reaching out to Gio with a sincere apology or offering support from a distance. Sasha's guidance is a beacon of hope for Cody, but will he find the courage to act on it before the damage becomes irreparable? Back in the Corinthos family orbit, Willow Tate Corinthos is facing a nightmare scenario that threatens to tear her world apart. In an emotionally charged scene, Willow's desperation reaches a fever pitch as she fears losing her children forever. With Drew Kane waiting anxiously in the car outside, Willow pleads with Michael Corinthos not to take her kids away, her voice breaking with every word. This isn't just a custody dispute, it's a clash of love, loyalty, and past mistakes that have resurfaced with a vengeance. Willow's bold move to confront Michael head-on is fueled by a mother's primal instinct to protect her family, but the stakes couldn't be higher. As they stand in the familiar yet now hostile terrain of their shared home, every memory of happier times hangs heavy in the air, contrasting sharply with the bitterness of the present. Michael, torn between anger and the lingering love he holds for Willow, must decide whether to prioritize justice or mercy. Will Willow's raw honesty and vulnerability sway him, or has too much trust been broken to salvage their bond? Simultaneously, Jason Morgan steps into the fray as a mediator, attempting to broker a compromise that could ease the mounting tensions within the Corinthos family. Known for his stoic demeanor and strategic mind, Jason approaches the situation with a calm pragmatism that contrasts with the heightened emotions around him. In a dimly lit backroom at Sonny's coffee warehouse, Jason lays out a plan that aims to balance everyone's needs, urging both Willow and Michael to consider the long-term impact on their children. His deep-rooted loyalty to the family drives him to find a middle ground, but negotiating peace in a sea of hurt feelings and betrayal is no easy feat. Jason's history of protecting those he loves gives him a unique perspective, but will his efforts be enough to prevent a permanent fracture in this already fragile family unit? Adding a lighter note to the episode, Kai Taylor and Trina Robinson take a significant step forward in their blossoming romance. After months of stolen glances and tentative flirtations, the couple decides to deepen their connection in a candlelit setting at a cozy Port Charles bistro. The warmth of their shared laughter and the sparkle in Trina's eyes as Kai shares a heartfelt story about his dreams reveal a chemistry that's undeniable. This moment of tenderness offers a refreshing contrast to the surrounding drama, reminding viewers of the power of new beginnings even in the midst of chaos. As they hold hands across the table, oblivious to the world around them, it's clear that Kai and Trina are building something special. But in a town like Port Charles, where secrets and danger lurk around every corner, how long can their newfound happiness last? Finally, a touch of classic Quartermain sarcasm cuts through the tension as Tracy Quartermain delivers a biting congratulations, likely aimed at Lulu for the chaos her revelation has unleashed. Standing in the mansion's elegant foyer, Tracy's sharp tongue and arched eyebrow convey a mix of disapproval and begrudging admiration for Lulu's audacity. Her words, dripping with irony, serve as a reminder of the high stakes and higher emotions at play within the family. Tracy's commentary isn't just comic relief. It's a pointed critique of the decisions that continue to ripple through their lives, challenging everyone to confront the consequences of their actions. Next, we will delve into the electrifying drama surrounding Michael Corinthos' dramatic return to Port Charles and the seismic shifts it's causing in the lives of those closest to him. Late last year, a scandalous one-night stand with Sasha Corbin led to an unexpected pregnancy, and now, after months of recovery from a near-fatal attack, Michael is back with a fierce determination to reclaim everything he believes is his. From his battle for custody of his children with Willow Corinthos to his insistence on being a hands-on father to Sasha's unborn child, Michael is a man on a mission, with new layers of intrigue, emotional depth, and invented details added to enrich the narrative. Let's explore the waves of conflict and heartbreak rippling through Port Charles as Michael stakes his claim on his future. The saga began nearly a year ago when Michael Corinthos, caught in the throes of a crumbling marriage to Willow Corinthos, found himself entangled in a passionate, impulsive encounter with Sasha Corbin. The fallout was immediate and life-altering. Sasha discovered she was pregnant and made the bold decision to keep the baby, initially declaring her intent to raise the child on her own. Michael, grappling with the wreckage of his personal life and the uncertainty of his future with Willow, reluctantly agreed to step back at the time, but that was then. Now, after surviving a harrowing ordeal, Michael has emerged as a changed man, hardened by pain and fueled by a resolve to take control of his destiny. His agreement with Sasha is no longer a distant promise to honor. It's a contract he intends to rewrite entirely. As he stands in the familiar yet foreign streets of Port Charles, the weight of his past decisions hangs heavy, but his eyes burn with a newfound clarity. He will not be sidelined again, not by anyone. Michael's journey back to this moment has been nothing short of a crucible. While the rest of Port Charles celebrated the dawn of a new year with champagne toasts and hopeful resolutions, Michael was fighting for his life after a catastrophic firebombing at Sonny Corinthos' penthouse. The explosion left him critically injured, with severe burns that required weeks of intensive care in a local hospital before he was transferred to an elite burn clinic in Germany for months of grueling treatment. Isolated in a sterile hospital room halfway across the world, Michael had endless hours to reflect on his life, his mistakes, his losses, and the family he felt slipping through his fingers. Each scar on his body became a reminder of what he'd endured, and with every painful therapy session, he forged a steely promise to himself upon his return he would reclaim his place in Port Charles with unrelenting force. Now, as he walks through the town's familiar haunts like Kelly's Diner and the waterfront, locals whisper about the fire in his gaze and the quiet intensity that seems to radiate from him. Michael isn't just back, he's back with a vengeance. At the forefront of Michael's agenda is a deeply personal mission to reunite with his children, Wiley and Amelia, currently living under the roof of Willow and his uncle, Drew Kane. The sight of Willow moving on so seamlessly with Drew while Michael battled for survival in a foreign hospital bed has ignited a fury within him that refuses to be quenched. The betrayal cuts deep, each memory of happier times with Willow now tainted by the image of Drew stepping into his role as provider and partner. Michael has decided he can no longer stand idly by as another man shapes the lives of his children. He's gearing up for a brutal custody battle, determined to secure full custody and remove Wiley and Amelia from what he sees as a tainted environment. In his mind, this isn't just about legal rights, it's about restoring his identity as their father, a role he feels has been unjustly stripped from him. As he consults with top family lawyers at a sleek downtown office, poring over legal documents late into the night, Michael's resolve only hardens. But will Willow, backed by Drew's influence and their shared history, concede without a fight, or will this spark a war that could scar their children forever? Parallel to this custody storm, Michael is reasserting his claim over another piece of his future, his unborn child with Sasha Corbin. Gone is the man who once agreed to let Sasha raise the baby solo. In his place stands a father unwilling to compromise on his role in his child's life. In a tense confrontation at Sasha's quaint apartment, decorated with pastel nursery items and ultrasound photos pinned to a corkboard, Michael lays out his intentions with unwavering clarity. He wants to be an equal parent, fully involved in every milestone from the first steps to the first words. Sasha, visibly shaken by this sudden shift, sees a transformed Michael, a man whose near-death experience has stripped away any semblance of passivity. The realization dawns on her that this isn't the Michael she could once negotiate with. This is a man backed by the formidable power of the Corinthos, Quartermain, and Spencer families, a trifecta of influence she knows she can't easily challenge. As she grips the edge of her kitchen counter, her mind races. Does she dare stand against him, knowing the odds are stacked in his favor? The air between them crackles with unspoken tension, each word a potential landmine that could detonate their fragile coexistence. Yet, Sasha Corbin is no stranger to survival, carrying the cunning legacy of her mother, Holly Scorpio, a master con artist whose lessons in deception are etched into Sasha's very being. When pushed into a corner, Sasha's instincts kick in, and she begins to weigh her options with a calculating mind. Standing by her window, gazing out at the bustling Port Charles below, she recalls Holly's mantra, "No one is off limits when your back is against the wall." Could she honor the original agreement and allow Michael shared parenthood, setting aside her initial vision of independence for the sake of peace, or will she resort to a more shadowy path, leveraging her knack for quick thinking and manipulation to protect her autonomy? Perhaps she might unearth a long-buried secret about Michael's past to use as leverage, or enlist an old ally from her mother's network to create a diversion. Whatever her choice, Sasha knows time is not on her side, and as she rubs her growing belly, she whispers a quiet promise to her unborn child to do whatever it takes to secure their future. Will she play fair, or will her desperation awaken the con artist within? Michael's return also reverberates through the broader tapestry of Port Charles, stirring whispers and speculation among family and friends. At the Quartermain mansion, Ned Quartermain ponders how Michael's aggressive stance might affect the family's already tenuous dynamics, sipping his morning coffee while flipping through legal briefs that hint at the brewing storm. Meanwhile, sunny Corinthos, still haunted by the firebombing that nearly claimed his son's life, wrestles with guilt and a fierce need to support Michael, even if it means clashing with others he holds dear. Over at the local hospital, Willow confides in a close friend, Nurse Elizabeth Weber, about the dread knotting her stomach at the thought of losing her children, her voice trembling as she clutches a worn photo of Wiley and Amelia. Each of these players adds a layer of complexity to Michael's crusade, their own stakes and emotions weaving into a narrative of loyalty, betrayal, and the unyielding bonds of family. How will their influence shape the battles ahead, and whose side will they ultimately choose? As we close this in-depth look at the unfolding drama in Port Charles, one thing is certain: Michael Corinthos' return is a catalyst for chaos, love, and reckoning. His fight for his children, both born and unborn, sets the stage for heart-wrenching confrontations and moral dilemmas that will test the resilience of everyone involved. Will Michael's quest for custody and fatherhood heal the wounds of his past, or will it fracture the fragile peace in Port Charles beyond repair? And what of Sasha? Will she find a way to coexist with this transformed Michael, or will her survival instincts lead her down a darker path? Stay tuned to ABC's General Hospital to witness every twist and turn of this compelling saga. We invite you to share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Does Michael have the right to demand everything, or should Sasha hold her ground? Until the next episode, keep watching, keep wondering, and let the drama of Port Charles captivate your heart. Next, we will immerse ourselves in the scorching drama heating up Port Charles, New York. Even though it's only May, the town is ablaze with revelations, none more shocking than the truth about Gio Palmieri's parentage, which has just come to light for him and half the residents of this drama-filled city. As the secret unravels that Dante Falconeri and Brooklyn Quartermain are his biological parents, emotions are running wild, and relationships are being tested in ways no one could have predicted. With fresh details, invented twists, and deeper explorations of each character's journey, we've got the full scoop on the upcoming episodes airing Tuesday, May 27th and Wednesday, May 28th. Join us as we unpack the gut-wrenching confrontations, heartfelt reconciliations, and lingering resentments that promise to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. The bombshell about Gio Palmieri's true origins has detonated in the heart of Port Charles, leaving a trail of shock and heartbreak in its wake. Raised in the tight-knit community of Bensonhurst, Gio never imagined his past would hold such a life-altering secret. Now, standing in the bustling center of Port Charles, with its iconic skyline as a backdrop to his turmoil, he grapples with the reality that Dante Falconeri and Brooklyn Quartermain are the parents he never knew. This isn't just a personal revelation, it's a public spectacle, as whispers and sideways glances follow him through the streets, from Kelly's diner to the waterfront park where he once played as a child. The weight of 2 decades of hidden truth presses down on him, reshaping every memory of his upbringing. How could he have been so close to his biological family, living under the Quartermain roof, without a clue? As Gio stares at old family photos tucked away in a dusty attic box, questions about identity and belonging swirl in his mind, setting the stage for explosive interactions in the episodes ahead. Will he find a way to reconcile his past with this jarring new present, or will the betrayal cut too deep? On Tuesday, May 27th, the spotlight turns to Lois Cerullo, who finds herself in the hot seat as she must account for her role in keeping Gio's parentage a secret while he lived among his biological family under the sprawling Quartermain mansion. In a charged scene set in the mansion's ornate living room, with its towering bookshelves and family portraits bearing witness, Lois faces a barrage of questions about how she could allow such a deception to linger for so long. The air is thick with tension as accusations fly, and Lois struggles to explain her motivations, perhaps a misguided attempt to protect both Gio and Brooklyn from pain during their formative years. Actor Dominic Zamprogna, who plays Dante, recently shared with Soap Opera Digest that the confrontation between Lois, played by Rena Sofer, and Brooklyn, Amanda Setton, is nothing short of mesmerizing. He described the upcoming exchange as potentially the best scenes I've ever seen, hinting at the raw emotion and powerful dialogue that will leave viewers stunned. As Lois fumbles for words, her eyes darting to a childhood drawing of Gio's framed on the wall, the episode promises to peel back layers of guilt and regret that have festered for 2 decades. Can Lois offer a justification that will soften the blow, or will her explanations only deepen the wounds? For Dante Falconeri, the revelation about Gio brings a mix of clarity and confusion, particularly after witnessing the young man's emotional outburst at the nurses' ball. In a heartbreaking moment that still echoes through Port Charles social circles, Gio, overwhelmed by the truth, referred to Dante as dad in front of a stunned crowd, unraveling years of assumptions in an instant. Now, as Dante processes this pivotal moment, a haunting question gnaws at him: did Brooklyn deliberately keep this secret from him for 20 years? Zamprogna revealed that Dante is tormented by the thought, well, am I the only one that didn't know? In a quiet scene at his apartment, surrounded by framed photos of his son Rocco and mementos of a life built on half-truths, Dante stares out the window at the Port Charles skyline, wrestling with feelings of betrayal and self-doubt. Was he blind to signs that were right in front of him, or was he intentionally left in the dark by those he trusted most? This internal struggle adds a layer of anguish to his character as he wonders how to bridge the gap between the father he's been to Rocco and the father he never got to be for Gio. Will Dante find answers that bring peace, or will this assumption of deceit poison his relationships further? The drama intensifies on Wednesday, May 28th, as Dante and Brooklyn unite in a fragile alliance to reach out to Gio, hoping to mend the gaping rift caused by years of lies. In a tender yet tension-filled encounter set at a serene park bench near the Port Charles harbor, the two approach Gio with cautious words and heavy hearts, aware that their gesture might be met with rejection. Brooklyn, her voice trembling with a mix of hope and fear, recalls fleeting moments from Gio's childhood she witnessed from afar, recitals and birthday parties she attended as a family friend, and longs to build new memories as his mother. Dante, meanwhile, carries the burden of past mistakes, knowing his harsh words still linger in Gio's mind. The young violinist, whose music once filled halls with beauty, now harbors a rage that threatens to drown out any olive branch extended to him. As he clutches his violin case, a symbol of the life he thought he knew, Gio wrestles with a storm of emotions: anger at being deceived for 20 years, confusion about the woman who raised him versus the woman who birthed him, and a deep ache to understand where he truly belongs. Will Gio allow this outreach to be the first step toward healing, or will his justified fury keep his parents at a distance? Adding salt to an already raw wound is the bitter memory of Dante's earlier accusation against Gio, a moment that cut deeper than any secret ever could. In a heated altercation before the truth emerged, Dante blamed Gio for Rocco Falconeri's alcohol poisoning, unleashing a torrent of anger and calling him a loser in a public display of scorn. Now, as Gio replays those cruel words in his mind while sitting alone in his room, surrounded by sheet music and trophies from a life once filled with pride, the sting is amplified by the knowledge that it was his own father who tore him down without knowing their connection. How can Gio possibly forgive Dante, knowing that the man who should have protected him instead judged him so harshly for something that endangered his half-brother? The complexity of this father-son dynamic is further muddled by Gio's struggle to redefine family. Can he find space in his heart for a man who lashed out so brutally, or will this past grievance become an insurmountable barrier? As Gio gazes at a childhood photo of himself holding Rocco's hand at a carnival, a flicker of longing for connection battles with his resentment, leaving his next move uncertain. Beyond Gio's personal turmoil, the ripple effects of this revelation touch other corners of Port Charles, adding layers of intrigue to an already explosive storyline. At the Quartermaine mansion, Ned Quartermaine ponders the family's legacy of secrets, wondering if this latest scandal will unite or further fracture their dynasty as he sips scotch in the dimly lit study. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer, Dante's ex, watches from the sidelines with a mix of empathy and unease, recalling her own parental struggles as she debates whether to offer Gio support or risk overstepping. Even young Rocco, unaware of the full scope of the drama, senses a shift in his father's demeanor, asking innocent yet piercing questions over breakfast at their kitchen table about why Dad looks so sad. Each of these perspectives underscores the far-reaching impact of a single truth, reminding us that in Port Charles, no secret stays buried without consequence. How will these secondary players influence Gio's path forward, and will their involvement help or hinder the fragile hope for family reconciliation? As we wrap up this deep dive into the searing drama of General Hospital's upcoming episodes, the stakes in Port Charles couldn't be higher. From Lois Cerullo's fraught explanations to Dante and Brooklyn's tentative outreach, and from Gio's battle with rage and identity to the lingering pain of past accusations, every moment promises to tug at viewers' heartstrings. What should Gio do next? Embrace the parents who seek forgiveness, or hold fast to the anger that shields his wounded heart? We invite you, our loyal GH fans, to share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Tune in to ABC on Tuesday, May 27th, and Wednesday, May 28th, to witness how this emotional saga unfolds. Until then, keep speculating, keep watching, and let the fiery passion of Port Charles keep you captivated.